So if you're thinking about moving to Laguna Beach and you want a balanced perspective on what it's like to live here, then this is the video for you. I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, absolutely everything that you'll need to know to make an informed decision about moving to Laguna Beach. And it's pretty nice here, but it's not all sunshine and roses, so stay tuned. What's up, guys? My name is Isaiah Rosario. I'm a Laguna Beach real estate agent and the host of Living in Orange County. If it's your first time on this channel and you want to know everything about what it's like to live here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that little notification bell so that you're notified every single time that we upload a new video. And go ahead and drop a like if you find this information helpful. And if you're thinking about moving to one of the cities I talk about on this channel, shoot us a call, text, or email anytime. Every single day we get people just like you that are moving here, and we love it. That's what we do. We help people relocate and buy homes in Orange County. So if you ever need anything, my contact info will be in the description or at the bottom of the screen here. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of living in Laguna Beach. I'm going to be giving you a balanced, unbiased opinion, and I'm going to be going back and forth from pro to con just to keep it balanced. But keep in mind that this is just one man's opinion, and to some people, certain pros may be cons, certain cons may be pros, and at the end of the day, no place is perfect, right? There's always going to be gray areas and compromises when it comes to decision making, especially when it comes to deciding where you're going to live or buy a home. So with that being said, on to pro number one. So pro number one, starting with the obvious, you're living on a beach, right? Probably the biggest appeal of Laguna is the easy access to lots of great beaches and the good weather that comes with living on a beach. It's pretty much sunny and warm here 24/7, and the air is clean and crisp from the ocean breeze. The thing that is unique about Laguna and its beaches is that it has a lot of smaller cove-like beaches with some really great hidden gems that can almost feel private. Compared with the other beaches north and south of Laguna, places like Newport or San Clemente, those beaches are more long, open stretches of beach. Lagunas are much more smaller and interesting in my opinion. Like I said, you get lots of coves and weird swim or surf spots, as well as some really cool dive spots if you're into diving. And overall, the beaches in Laguna are some of my favorite because they are so diverse and unique among Southern California beaches. And living here and exploring a bit, you'll be able to find a favorite one for yourself. Now, on to con number one. Con number one is the parking and traffic situation. So, Laguna is a very dense, crowded town that is very popular with tourists and out-of-towners coming to enjoy it. This creates a bit of a traffic problem, both within the city and when entering or leaving the city. There's pretty much only two ways in or out of Laguna, either through the canyon or along the coast, and both can get very clogged during the weekends or peak traffic hours. So if you do have to commute, I'd recommend trying to commute around peak hours because it can get pretty swamped during those times or during the touristy times. This goes hand in hand with the parking situation, which can also be a problem. The streets are narrow, and if you're near the beach, they can fill up with tourists and visitors. Owning a driveway is a luxury I'd recommend in this city. So now on to pro number two. Pro number two is that Laguna has an awesome art and creative scene. It's actually what the city is known for. People from all over the world visit Laguna Beach for the famous art shows and galleries. Laguna is home to the Sawdust Art Festival, Laguna Art Affair, Festival of the Arts, and the 80-year-old world-famous Pageant of the Masters, which I would recommend attending even if you don't live in Laguna. I've been to the Pageant of the Masters. It's a pretty cool show, and it's definitely something cool to visit if you can make it down here during that time. You can also visit one of the dozens of galleries along the Pacific Coast Highway, and really it's reflected in the whole culture of the town. The small shops have a creative and artsy element. Even the homes here are creatively designed, and some of the coolest, most unique houses I've seen are in Laguna, and that's also a fun pro of the city, is the fact that there's not a lot of cookie cutter homes here, and it's one of the only places in Orange County where unique and creative homes are still being developed. That does bring us to our con number two. So con number two is going to be the cost of housing and the density of that housing. The homes here in Laguna are expensive, like the rest of South Orange County. You are paying to live on a beach, right? So that comes with a price. However, one thing to mention is that home values here do appreciate quickly. So owning a home here is not a bad investment for the future. Another thing to mention about housing is the density of it, especially the closer you get to the beach. Homes are going to be close together. The streets are narrow, like I've said, but the homes are creative and unique. So you don't really feel like you're living in a dense suburb. It feels much more urban and small townish. From my experience, there's also more of a community-oriented vibe to Laguna than the rest of South Orange County. You're more likely to know your neighbors here. If you want to know more about the cost of housing, be sure to check out my full breakdown on the cost of living in Laguna Beach. In that video, I go over everything you need to know bills, housing, you name it. You can find that video in our Moving to Laguna Beach playlist, which I'll link below in the description. Now on to pro number 3. So pro number 3 is going to be the abundance of outdoor activities in and near Laguna Beach. While you obviously have all the beach activities, right? Swimming, surfing, diving, kayaking, etc. You also have access to fantastic hiking and biking trails right in the town. So Laguna is a beach, but it also features rolling hills and great parks. Some of the best spots are the Laguna Coast Wilderness Park, which has over 40 trails and 7,000 acres of coastal wilderness. Top of the World, Crystal Cove State Park, Molten Meadows Park, and Aliso and Wood Canyons Wilderness Park, which are also top choices. There are also tons of bike paths throughout the town, some really beautiful ones that run along the coast, and the whole town is very active. So if you are looking for others to participate in the activities, you should have no problem finding like-minded people to bike or hike with. But speaking of people, that brings us to con number 3. So con number 3 is going to be the tourism aspect of Laguna. So Laguna is a popular tourist destination pretty much all year. It's the busiest during the summer months and during the big art shows, and it can get pretty hectic, especially if you're close to the beach or you need to commute in and out of the city during those times. People from all over Southern California and plenty of outer-state tourists come to Laguna to experience the art culture and beaches. It is a big part of Laguna's economy, so without tourism, the town wouldn't be what it is, but the traffic and parking situation can make you feel a little bit resentful. For most people, this isn't a big deal, but I do have to mention it. Luckily for tourists, there is a good trolley system that has them park outside the main city in the canyons, and then they trolley them into the city, so that certainly helps with that. But yeah, if you live in Laguna, you can expect to be dealing with this aspect. So now on to pro number 4. Pro number 4 is that Laguna is more laid back compared to the rest of South Orange County. In Laguna, I find there's more community aspects. You're more likely to know your neighbors, and there's less of a focus on material wealth in this town when compared to places like Newport Beach. So South Orange County in general kind of has a stigma or stereotype of pretentiousness, and while I wouldn't say this attitude is prevalent, it definitely is present. But I do think you get out what you put in, right? If that's what you portray, you'll attract others of a similar nature. But here in Laguna, I do find it's much more laid back. Artsy, with almost like a hippie-ish sort of vibe, which I enjoy and appreciate myself. It's hard to describe exactly, but Laguna does feel like a different, more laid back and relaxed city when compared to the rest of South Orange County. And that's partly because of the residents, but also partly because of our next con. So on to con number 4. Con number 4 is that Laguna is semi-isolated, being surrounded by coastal hills, and with only 2 ways in or out of the city, Laguna is its own little town when compared to the rest of South Orange County. In some ways, this is a pro, and in some ways, this can be a con. In Laguna, there are no big box stores like Costco or Walmart, which can make shopping for essentials a 30 to 40 minute trip depending on traffic. Laguna lacks many of these kinds of stores, which is kind of cool in my opinion. That's what makes Laguna feel like more like a small beach town than a big city, but it can also be a pain if you do need to stop by one of them. But the fact that it's isolated is what gives Laguna its own separate charm and lifestyle. It really is a unique place in Southern California. From the beaches to the art to the creative homes and people, you'd be hard-pressed to find a cooler place to live in Orange County, which is why Laguna Beach is one of my personal favorite places to live in Orange County. So that's it, guys. That's the pros and cons of living in Laguna Beach, California. My name's Isaiah Rosario. I'm a local real estate agent here, and if you have any questions or concerns about relocating to Laguna or buying a home here, my phone number and email will be linked below this video or at the bottom of the screen here. Or you can go ahead and leave a comment asking any questions. I got people reaching out every single day, and it's great. Love helping you guys, so if there's ever anything I can do for you, just shoot me a message day or night. This is Living in Orange County. Feel free to check out our Laguna playlist below as well as our other videos, and consider subscribing if you want to see more content. And go ahead and drop a like if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and welcome to Laguna.